Salutations everyone, this is Razor bringing you guys another Overwatch video here talking about quite an undervalued tank. A very necessary pick in many instances in matchmaking where quite often you're going to be the only one who's willing to play tank. You know, maybe you'll have a Mercy. Moira's pretty popular, so you typically will have one of her throughout all levels of matchmaking. But still, nobody ever wants to play tank. And if you're going solo tank, especially if you're defending, and especially if you have, you know, Bastions and Torbjorn throwers on your team, the best way to utilize that circumstance is to use Orisa. She has fulfilled the role that I was hoping that she would when she first came out. Being a tank that I can pick in solo queue and be able to use and make more out of it than having to try and solo with Reinhardt or Winston or D.Va or Zarya. D.Va and Zarya don't have, you know, the shield capabilities, and Winston needs some teamwork to follow up on, and his shield doesn't last very long. And when you're using Reinhardt, your teammates kind of seem confused when they see that shield. They're like, what is that shield thing? I don't know what that is. Let's run away from it, instead of, you know, using it as protection. With Orisa, it's a mobile shield. You get to protect your Torbjorn, try to keep him alive and keep that turret alive to maximize the value that terrible pick can have. Or Bastions set up on, you know, Anubis 1. You know, when it comes to matchmaking, it's really who's the best player, who's the best lone player on the team that can utilize their terrible teammates the best, and who can work around bad picks. And quite often when you are going to be solo tanking in matchmaking, or, you know, let's say your teammates think that Roadhog is a tank, or they're way too overzealous with Zarya or D.Va or something like that, or Ryan that just keeps charging in, Orisa can kind of help babysit the rest of the team. Her ability to block damage since the buff is absolutely insane. She can more than rival the block damage that Reinhardt can put out. She can definitely block a lot more. And when it comes to surviving the onslaught from other enemy tanks, Orisa is a little bit better in certain circumstances. In many circumstances, Orisa is quite weak. For instance, Orisa cannot attack two enemies at once. She's terrible at changing targets because she moves slow. Her projectiles are, you know, not hit scans, and she has no mobility. In fact, she has an ability that allows her to be less mobile. You know, she's not going to get CC'd, which is, you know, only going to be a bad thing if, you know, a Winston's primal raging in your face, in which case he's going to do more damage against you because he's not knocking you away. But the kit that Orisa has available to her is going to allow you more survivability as a solo tank, or just on defense. I feel like I have to play Orisa way more than I want to. She's relatively fun, but definitely easier going than having to try the Reinhardt battle when your teammates are not using your Reinhardt effectively. If you don't have a Lucio speed boosting and people focus firing down on Mercies and stuff like that, and you can't really do anything against Pharah's, you know, when you're a Reinhardt. Granted, when you're an Orisa, there ain't shit you can do against Tracer. If there's an Orisa on the enemy team, Tracer is just such an easy pick because Orisa can't kill Tracer. Unless she has no blinks and no recalls, and you grab her when she's already at half health, can you shoot her down as she gets pulled in. Otherwise, Tracer free damage when she gets behind you and then blinks right out and then can pulse bomb you easily. And even if you fortify, you're going to take a ton of damage and quite possibly die. But the necessity of Orisa in matchmaking is so much so that she's my second most used tank. If I have another main tank, a shield tank on my team, or in certain circumstances, it'd be fine if there was you know, a Zarya. Then I'll try to go D.Va and maximize the amount of value I can get out of her. As I mentioned in my last video, the fact that I think D.Va is the best solo carry hero in the game because of what she can deny the enemy from doing and what she can do by herself offensively as well as defensively. Orisa is definitely going to be more on the defensive category. She has the shield, she has the fortify, she can CC with her little mini grav. And she's not great at peeling. She's not going to do a ton of damage. I mean, if you nano boost her, then her rate of fire almost makes her a hit scan, and she can melt down an enemy Diva or Zarya or Reaper real quick. And she doesn't have the best of ults in the world. Obviously, you know, Mercy's is just the same but way better because, you know, Mercy is going to survive longer than a Bongo Drum of Destiny can. But, you know, if you have the right team push behind it and you don't get dove by a Winston and a Diva or Zarya or Reinhardt, then you can most likely protect that drum. But you aren't going to get it very often, and you're not going to get a ton of value out of it as an offensive ult. But what Orisa can do as a solo tank, as I'm going here, we have a... I think it's triple DPS. We have a Moira and a Mercy. So I'm solo tanking here with Orisa. Yes, we have a Roadhog, but how can Roadhog protect teammates? That's just not something he's capable of doing. He's got no shields. He's got no defense matrix. He's got no bubbles. So I kind of have to hold it down with Orisa on defense quite often all by myself. And, you know, try to protect the right targets the best you can. Orisa isn't going to be able to bodyguard anybody. But, you know, she can grab people off the high ground, which is very, very crucial. If you're solo tanking and you need to be a shield tank, then a soldier or a McCree from high ground can wreak havoc. Orisa can pull them off with halt. And, you know, focus fire on a Reaper, you know, CC him so that your teammate Roadhog can, you know, hopefully get a hook or something. Or you can just nail him down, fortify, hopefully tank a little bit of damage as you're whittling him down. Even when he's death blossoming, there is a chance that you might be able to seal the deal. And when it comes to dealing with the enemy tanks, that is kind of the most important thing in Overwatch, is how your tanks deal match up against the enemy tanks. That is a very, very crucial thing. And Orisa fares pretty well. She's not going to do very well against really any DPSs. And against a mobile healer, she's not going to be able to do much but throw in some chip damage maybe here and there. She's basically there to stay on the points, stall the objective, and survive as long as possible, and hopefully do some range damage with her gun. So when it comes to the Ryan matchup, Orisa's pretty good against Ryan. I love trying to bait them in with charge because you can just fortify. That blocks the charge. You get free headshot damage for like a full second. And we get Blossom there. But, oh, teammate Mercy for the win. And we're just going to clean up here with the Bongo Drum of Destiny. When it comes to Zarya, you're going to have to position yourself around your shield. When it comes to Diva and Winston, she is quite vulnerable to the dive. But not many people are, you know, going to be playing to that. And hopefully, since you're solo tanking, your teammates are going to have 3 or 4 DPSs. And let's hope with that much DPS, you'll be able to do some D. And when it comes to attack, we've seen in the pro scene how versatile Orisa can be. Getting through the choke on King's Row, and making your way through the hotel. I saw me halts that Zarya off the high ground. That's an easy pick. Then we can take our way through the high ground right here and get the lone tick, which is all that we need. So, and you know, she's pretty decent against Torbjorn turrets as well, because those things don't move, and she can do a lot of damage if all of her shots are going to be hitting, as we knock out the Reaper and finish off this Zarya right here. So Orisa has some use on attack, especially if you're looking to block off a certain pathway or a certain choke just for amount of time to break a Reinhardt shield or to get a pick, and then you can close in. Orisa, a bit more versatile than many people think. We've seen her hold on Hanamura in the pros, and then that get, you know, disrupted with some Junkrat issues. So She's going to be able to get her shield up more often than Reinhardt. She's going to be able to survive a bit longer as a solo tank than your off tanks, and it's going to be easier for your teammates to play around than a Reinhardt or a Winston, which requires a lot more communication and just knowing how to play the game. So Orisa, very, very key, even on some control maps like Lijiang Tower Control Center, she can hold down the fort. So very underutilized, undervalued tank, and definitely essential in the solo queue meta.